In last class I was discussing about effect of different process parameter on metal transfer only, and at the end of last lecture I was discussing categories of different welding efficiency. There I was discussing at the end of that lecture I was discussing about heat source efficiency, and I finished also heat source efficiency. There we observed that heat source efficiency generally varied from welding process to welding process. It was observed that that heat source efficiency, depending upon the heat source type, its efficiency can vary from 10% to around 99%. There we observed about heat source efficiency, and another efficiency also was there, that is called melting efficiency, or that is also called heat transfer efficiency. Today first of all I will discuss about melting efficiency, heat transfer efficiency in detail. After that actually I will discuss about effect of process parameter in weld quality. That means last class I was discuss about effect of process parameter only one, what it is called metal transfer. So in today's lecture I will discuss about effect of different operating or process parameter on weld quality as well as deposition rate and weld deposition rate, weld width geometry in details. So, this is the content of today's lecture. That means first of all I will discuss about the melting efficiency, or this is also called heat transfer efficiency, and another one is welding parameters and their effect on weld quality, quality of welding. So, last class I have already discussed about heat source efficiency. There we observed that the heat source efficiency is the ratio between the heat in arc, that means heat supplied to arc by heat by power source, that means arc heat divided by, that means heat transfer from arc to workpiece, that means workpiece divided by workpiece heat. That means this ratio generally all the heat, generally we observe that all the heat is not transferred from arc to workpiece. There is some losses occur, that losses due to convection, conduction, radiation, or some other losses can be there. Due to that things, all the heat is not transferred from arc to the workpiece material. So that's why there is used some term that is called heat source efficiency. Heat source efficiency means that also we can, heat source efficiency we are representing by that means eta Hs, that way we represent it. Now today we will discuss about the melting efficiency or heat transfer efficiency. This melting efficiency is the ability of the heat source to melt the base metal as well as filler material. Actually this represent, that means this melting efficiency, actually whatever the heat is transferring from heat source to workpiece, that all heat of workpiece is not required to melt the base material and filler material. Here generally there can be some excess of heat will be there. That means here actually whatever the heat required to weld, here the heat required to weld is generally we have to melt the base material and what happens as well as filler material. For that whatever the heat is required, that is sufficient to generally do the welding. But what happens, whatever the heat supplying from arc, all the heat is not utilized for what is called melting the parent material or workpiece, or melting the electrode. So here some excess of heat generally can be there. Based on this thing, generally what happens, here generally we use melting efficiency or we use generally heat transfer efficiency. This melting efficiency also it is called as heat transfer efficiency, heat transfer efficiency. What does it means, this heat transfer efficiency? Heat transfer efficiency means that this we can write that this is the ratio of heat required to melt the base material as well as what it is called filler material divided by heat supplied to workpiece. That means whatever the heat supply from arc to workpiece, that will be here in denominator, and top of the ratio will be the heat required to melt the base material as well the filler material. So what we can write actually, this melting efficiency, or we can say heat transfer efficiency, it is the generally what does it means? it is generally heat required, this we can write, is required to melt the base and filler material divided by what we can write, heat supply to the workpiece. That means heat supply, or we can say heat absorbed to the work. This two ratio generally is called generally melting ratio. How we can represent these things? This portion generally represent, that means heat required to melt the base material, that means heat required to rise the temperature of base material from room temperature to its melting point and melt it. This generally, this portion represent that thing, and this second portion represent that heat required to melt the filler material. Heat required to raise the temperature from room temperature to melting point temperature of filler material and melt it, just whatever the heat is required for. That means to rise temperature from room temperature to melting point of base material as well as filler material required is generally used in top of that efficiency, and below of this generally represented the what it is called heat supplied from arc to workpiece. That means how much heat is coming to workpiece. So, this is generally this how much heat is coming to workpiece, that we can easily find out, that is generally that is represented in terms of Q divided by EI, that we have already we have discussed. Heat source efficiency is equal to the this heat absorbed to workpiece divided by EI. So, from here generally QW we can represented as eta Hs into EI, that we can write. So, this part will be this eta Hs, here we can write this is eta Hs, EI generally T weld represents generally heat required actually, eta Hs. So, this eta Hs with, if we multiply with this thing with welding time, then we generally get the heat, that generally eta EI is power once we multiply with this thing with time of weld, because then it is generally converted to heat energy. So, generally this welding time is multiplied with both top and bottom, that is why this generally can be eliminated. So, this weld time, because everywhere there is welding time, here is welding time, here is also welding time, and here is also below also. So, this can be cancelled out. And how we calculate this second term of this heat energy, that we can calculate by checking the cross section view of weld bit. Generally, once we cut the cross section, then there we can get the overall cross section view of molten metal zone. So, in this molten metal zone, let's this portion represent the cross sectional area, represent top portion represent the cross sectional area of filler material, and let's this below portion represent the cross sectional area of the what it's called base material. So, let's this base material melting region is this mass portion, and filler material deposition portion is this top portion. So, so here generally a filler, that means area of filler material, and a base means area of base material. This we can get easily from where from the what it's called, from the cross sectional view of welded section, because from cross section view by cutting and polishing it, this area we can easily visualize. So, once we get this area, then if with this area if we just multiply with velocity and time, then area into velocity and time means length. This velocity and time represent V into T represent generally length of weld. So, what happens if we know this cross sectional area of this base material, this V and T represent this length of the weld. So, cross sectional area into length of weld represent what? That volume of weld. Actually, these terms from this to this represent what? Represent the volume of what it's called, volume of generally base material melted, base material. Similarly, from this parenthesis portion generally represent volume of filler material melted, material melted. This generally represent this, okay. That we can easily get from here. Now, if we just with this volume, if we multiply this this H base, what is this H base? This H base is the energy required per unit volume of base material to rise temperature from what it is called room temperature to melting point temperature of base material and melt it. Then if we just multiply, this is generally per unit volume energy requirement. So, if we just multiplying this unit volume energy required with total volume of base material, then we will get the total energy required for melting of base material from room temperature to that means melting of base material. Generally in second portion also we have this parenthesis region 1 generally represent the volume of filler material. This volume of filler material once we multiply it with this H filler, here H filler represent the energy required per unit volume of filler material to rise temperature from room temperature to melting point temperature of filler material and just melt it. Rest of the heat, whatever the excess heat is there, that is not actually utilizing here. Only the energy required to rise temperature from room temperature to melting point temperature and just melt it. So, this generally represents, so this parenthesis region A filler into V into T will represent the volume of filler material deposited during welding time. Once we multiply with this energy required per unit volume of filler material, then we get total energy required in case of filler material to rise temperature from room temperature to melting point temperature. So, this we can easily find out. And what is this thing? This denominator, this thing represent the whatever the heat is supplied from arc to workpiece, that we can easily calculate from heat source efficiency. Now, here one thing you should remember, that means we can easily get this total cross sectional area from microstructural observation, this total cross sectional area. But among this total cross sectional area, what will be the filler material area and what will be the base material area, that is little bit difficult to distinguish. For that reason, but this total cross sectional area can be easily measured. Here total cross sectional area, that means total A weld area is the area of filler material and area of base material. This total we can measure easily. But what happens, this filler zone and base material zone, this distinguishing is little bit difficult. That is why if we can get any one portion of this cross section and then rest of the portion of cross section we can subtract from this total cross sectional area, that we can easily find out. So, here generally area of this filler material cross sectional area we can find out by using this following formula. What is this formulation? This is the volume of filler material, but we do not know exactly what is the cross sectional area of filler material. That we have to find out. How to find out this thing? Generally this filler material is supplied by the consumable electrode. Generally consumable electrode is generally, let this is the electrode, this is generally continuously feed. This is generally continuously feed by this feed roller mechanism, generally some feed roller or manually also it can be done. So, what happens, once it is in a feed roller mechanism, there we know what is the speed of this that means speed of this consumable electrode, because what happens depending upon this. So, speed of the consumable electrode means consumption of the filler material deposition, we can calculate by using this speed of the filler material speed or feed rate. This speed actually called generally feed rate of electrode, feed rate of consumable electrode. This generally can be automatically, we can set it in welding operation. This is known to us, that means speed of known to us, and we know the diameter of the electrode also. So, if we know this diameter of the electrode, then what happens, if we know the what it is called feed rate, that means speed of consumable electrode, then we can easily calculate what is the volume of filler wire deposited, that we can easily find out. That we can easily find out generally by pi d square for this cross sectional area of the these things into length of the filler wire. This velocity actually represent velocity of filler wire, or you can say V filler. This we can represent as of V filler or feed rate speed or feed rate we can say. So, this we can easily measure. this is here representing generally in terms of pi r square cross sectional area of this consumable electrode, and V filler represent the feed rate or speed of the filler wire, and during welding time if we multiple, this represent the total length of electrode, this we can represent LE. So, this is known to us. So, we know everything from here, R filler velocity, that means feed rate of the filler wire, and we also know the welding speed. So, we know everything here. So, we can easily calculate what should be the cross sectional area of filler wire. So, if we can able to calculate this filler wire cross sectional area, then from this weld cross sectional area, if we just subtract this area of filler wire, then we can get how much area of base material, what is the cross sectional area of base material are there, that we can easily find out, because this is known to us, and this is also known to us from microstructural study, total cross sectional area. Thus, if we subtract this thing, we can get easily this base material cross sectional. So, here we got this cross sectional area of base material as well as cross sectional area of filler material, and rest of the thing is known to you, that means speed of welding speed we know welding time. So, we can easily calculate this melting efficiency easily, Now, here generally we will discuss about what is the effect of all these different welding parameters on weld quality. That means weld quality means, here weld quality means bit geometry, welding strength, deformation or distortion of welding, and what happens, its penetration. So, overall quality of the welding, what this different welding parameter affects, that I will discuss now. Generally, here one thing you keep it in mind, weld quality and weld deposition rate both are influenced by generally various welding parameters and joint geometry. This generally this weld quality and deposition rate is depends on different welding parameters and another things joint geometry. About joint geometry generally I have already discussed in initial some lecture, I was discussed about this joint geometry, what are the different types of joint geometry are there, that I was already discussed. Now, here I will discuss in details about different welding parameters effects on quality of welding as well as deposition rate in details. What is these parameters? This welding parameter, especially the major welding parameters which affect the weld quality, then weld bit geometry, deposition rate, these major welding parameters are generally as follows. Like here it can be welding current, it is generally arc voltage, welding speed, electrode feed rate, length of stick out or electrode extension, this is also called extension, electrode diameter, and third then last parameter generally is called joint geometry. So, each and every welding parameters details and joint geometry details I will discuss in the subsequent slides. There we will see what is the effect of these different parameters in overall weld quality. First of all, I will discuss about welding current. So, before going to welding current, generally whatever the parameter I have shown above, this parameter generally affect the following generally. What is the effect of these parameters if it is varying? It generally these parameters affects the deposition rate, it affects on weld bit shape, its effect on depth of penetration, its effects on cooling rate, and its effects on weld induced distortion. That means whatever the parameter I have told you previously, that parameter have this effect. These are the following effect of that thing. So, what happens? By controlling the above parameter, we can get less distortion, good penetration, good bit shape welding. So, we have to know in details about the above parameters effect. So, that I will discuss in subsequent slides one by one. So, first of all, welding current. Yeah, I have already discussed welding current means flow of electron, actual flow of electron through the gap of the arc. Generally what happens due to this flow of electron, generally what happens that welding current directly proportional with heat energy, that we know. That means what is heat energy or heat power? Generally heat power we know that E into I, that we know. Generally here generally this E means voltage, this we can represent generally, this E we can represent generally in terms of I into resistance of arc. So, generally if we just put this E here I into R here and I, then this power is actually represented as I square R. So, here generally what we observe, this power is directly proportional to A square of the current. Here one things we can observe. So, welding power is directly proportional to around, or heat energy, generally heat energy rate generally directly proportional to the A square of the welding current, that we can observe from here. So, for a given electrode and generally for a and polarity, in case of DC welding, generally melting rate, we know that melting rate is directly proportional to this energy. That means, this directly proportional to A square of this welding current, because this depending upon this power generally heat is generating. This power generally, whatever the power coming from electrode, that means from power source to base material, here generally this total power, or you can say this total heat power, we can represent it in terms of these six different component. What is this 6 different component? Here you should know little bit detail about this thing. This actually what happens, where QB generally whatever the heat is coming from coming from power source, this heat generally some heat is going to heat energy is going to, or you can say heat power is going to base material. This is generally base material heat. This is generally some heat energy going to electrode. That means some because some heat energy is required to melt the base material, some heat energy required to melt the what happens, or melt or heat the electrode, and this QCP and QCC represent the heat conduction in plate and heat conduction in electrode. P represent for plate and heat E represent for electrode. So, some heat is conducted to electrode, some heat is conducted to plate. And what is this QV and QR? QV represent the convection heat heat transfer rate, and QR represent the rate of radiation heat transfer. So, this is actually energy balance equation, or what you can say in case of welding, for a particular types of welding, how the energy balance equation is coming. So, this energy generally all the heat energy, how it is dissipating over the welding region, that it is representing. Here generally one things you can observe, this whatever the heat energy you are getting, this is generally proportional to A square of the current, and this R represent the arc resistance, whatever the resistance you are getting, resistance, whatever the resistance in arc is there, this R represent the resistance of the arc. So, from here generally we got the idea how the heat energy connected with what it is connected with the current. So, from here itself you get the idea, that means current is the most important variable generally here, which is generally affecting the melting rate, the deposition rate, the depth of penetration, and the base material melted. So, the amount of base material melted. So, here one things you keep it in mind, this current is the most important variable here, which affects most of the important part. Generally how it is, what is this important part? This effect is main effect, effect is on melting rate. Second effect is in depth of penetration. How the depth of penetration and all the things its effect, that I will discuss in subsequently. The welding current's main effect is melting rate and depth of penetration. Depth of penetration means generally if the welding current is high, welding current high means what does it mean? Welding current high means flow of electron is more over there. So, if the flow of electron more over there in case of DCEN, electrode negative, in case of DCEN, generally if the flow of electron more is there, or if in case of DCEP, if the flow of electron more is there, then what happens? Flow of current, that means flow of current more means flow of electron more. Flow of electron more means what happens? Bombardment force, that means more current means more bombardment force will be there. How this more bombardment force will be there? That I have already discussed in different forces in welding arc. There we discussed, there is generally one force is called radial force, one force is called radial force, another force actually I was discussed that another force is called axial force. In case of axial force, generally generally create what happens in case of axial force, which generally create turbulence effects in oil pool region. So higher there also I was discussing higher this forces generally is almost directly proportional to a square of the current, that also I was discussed. So there we observe this is also proportional to a square of the current. So if the current is high, this turbulence effect and all the things is increased. Due to this turbulence effect or axial force effect, generally what happens, more penetration is taken place. And as I have already discussed, this heat energy is also directly proportional to what it is called, directly proportional to a square of the current. So if the current is more, then heat energy will be more. So heat energy more means more material will be melted, that means deposition rate also will be increased. This thing only represented here, that means if the current is too high, then what will be the result? The result will be here, generally if the current is too high, then there will be excessive penetration, what I have already told you. Why excessive penetration will be there? Because there is more forceful arc will be generated, that is there will be more turbulence effect in the whirlpool. So more penetration will be there in case of high current. So what happens, that is why high current, generally in case of high current there is a chance to melt through in case of thinner material. So high current generally is not preferable in thinner types of plate. So second point is, if the current is too high, there will be excessive melting of electrode. So there will be excessive reinforcement. This reinforcement, what is excessive reinforcement? You should know what is reinforcement. Reinforcement means, generally if you do the welding, you can say that bead shape generally become like this. So above the surface of the base material, generally some portion of the material generally posited toward the surface of the base material. So this portion generally called reinforcement. So this reinforcement generally what happens, if the melting rate will be more of the electrode, then this reinforcement height generally will be more. That means more material will be deposited over the surface of the electrode. And here one thing you keep it in mind, as the higher current result in higher penetration as well as higher melting rate, that is why, and higher current represents generally higher heat input. So if the heat input will be higher, then generally due to this high heat input there will be more distortion or more deformation of the welded plate. So more heat input to plates being joined increase distortion of the welded plate. Now if the current is too low, that means if the current is too low, result will be opposite. That means here generally will be inadequate penetration. Here that means whatever the penetration required, that much of penetration we will not get. So here generally less penetration we will get. So that is called inadequate penetration. Apart from this thing, there can be lack of fusion. So these two effect it can create if the current is less. Now here one thing you should keep it in mind, generally compare that this current can be AC current, alternating current, or DC, direct current. But always keep it in mind, direct current is generally more preferable, because generally it provides a steady arc, smooth metal transfer, good wetting action and uniform oil bead size, generally DC current provide. So DC current is more preferable. So from effect of current, what we observe, this current's main effect is to increase the depth of penetration as well as generally what is called melting rate of the material. So main effect is generally depth of penetration, current effect. So higher the generally let's for thicker section, depth of penetration, what does it means? Depth of penetration means the higher the current, higher will be the depth of penetration. That means whatever this penetration depth means this is generally fusion depth, we can say how much material is melted inside the thickness of the plate actually. This is general penetration depth. So higher will be this forceful arc, more penetration you can observe. That is why for thicker section generally what is called high current is preferable, because high penetration we can get. Now we will go for other operating variables effect, that is called another operating variable, this arc voltage. Arc voltage, what I have already discussed, arc voltage means the voltage difference between voltage difference or voltage between the electrode and workpiece. Arc voltage means whatever the voltage we got in this gap, generally whatever the voltage we got, this is generally called arc voltage, or whatever the voltage we get in arc, that is we called as welding voltage or arc voltage. So, arc voltage is the voltage between this what it is called workpiece or job and electrode, that I have already discussed. So, whatever the voltage is there, this is called arc voltage or welding voltage. Here one thing you keep it in mind, generally open circuit voltage, generally to initiate this arc, once we switch on the power source, generally whatever the what it's called voltage generally supply from power source to electrode, that initially before starting the arc, whatever the voltage is there, that is called open circuit voltage. There generally no arc is there at that time. So, generally this open circuit voltage range generally to initiate the arc is generally is higher than this arc voltage. Generally open circuit voltage varies between 50 to 100 volt, that we have already discussed, and generally this arc voltage, whereas arc voltage varies between 15 volt to 40 volt in case of this normal arc welding process. When this arc is struck, then what happens, then the open circuit voltage drop to arc voltage and welding load come on power supply. This you keep it in mind. So, generally when this open circuit voltage drop to arc voltage, then this welding loads come on power supply, and the welding voltage directly proportional to arc length. The welding voltage generally directly proportional to arc length, that we know. How it is directly proportional? Generally we know, generally resistance of arc resistance generally is proportional to, we know resistance of arc generally directly proportional to length of the arc and length of the inversely proportional to cross sections. That is the general rule actually from Ohm's law that we know. So, generally this arc voltage we can represent L by A. So, from here itself we can get, and V is generally proportional to resistance of arc. So, here one thing you keep it in mind, that welding voltage or arc voltage generally proportional to arc length. So, as the length increase, arc resistance increase, so resulting in higher voltage drop, that is higher arc voltage. Now, we will see what is the effect of this arc voltage. Voltage related things you know actually. The main effect of arc voltage is on bit geometry generally. The arc voltage effects on bit geometry. Arc voltage generally does not have significant effect on penetration like arc current, or you can say welding current, whatever because current has effects on penetration, but arc voltage have effects on size, that means generally width of the bit shape generally, especially how it is affecting, that I will discuss one by one. Generally proper arc length is important to obtain a sound weld joint. How? Generally one thing you keep it in mind, if the arc is too short, then what happens, there is a chance of short circuiting of electrode with base material, that type of chance can be there. If it is too high, that means too long, that means long arc, then this arc become unstable, the arc can be unstable, as well as there is generally too long arc lacks direction and intensity of the arc. So, what happens, due to this lack direction and intensity, what happens, it gives heavy spatter and formation of undercut. This is the, for long arc generally heavy spatter is occur, and there is occur some undercut. What is this undercut? Undercut actually how it's look like, it's a welding defect actually. So, undercut means that let this is a weld bit. So, undercut means some sort of depression in weld bit, which is generally this depression lie beneath the surface of the workpiece. So, this is actually a type of, this is generally called undercut. This is a defect of weld. This is a generally defect of weld. So, these types of depression can come if the arc is too long, and this undercut can happen in case of long arc, as well as it generally here what happens, there can be spattery types of arc. Why spatter types of arc, spatter types of molten material will be there? Because generally these molten droplets will fall from very high distance. So once it fall down, there can be some splashing out of molten material outside this molten zone. So that can create some spattery types of deposition. So short arc and long arc we understand. So now here another main things of this arc voltage effect is on well bead appearance. This bead appearance generally highly depends on what? Arc voltage. How it is? Generally higher the arc voltage means higher will be the length of the arc. Now you see one thing you keep it in mind, if let's this is a so here one thing you keep it in mind, here let's if this arc is a small, then the if the arc length is a small, let this is L1, and if this arc length become high, let this is L2. So in this case you will get more spread arc than shorter arc. So here you will get a bead width of this much. If you increase the arc length, then here due to the spread of this arc, generally what happens, here you will get wider bead shape, because more arc area will be there. Due to this more arc area, there will be more flattening of the well bead is there. Now we can think, sir, then by increasing the arc length we can increase the well bead area as much as we require. But it is not like that. If we increase more and more arc length, then there what I have already told you, there can be instability of the arc, as well as there can be lack direction, as well as intensity can be there. Due to that things, there is a limitation of arc gap. There can be extinguishing of arc also can be there, because due to this less intensity and all the things, there can be extinguishing of arc is also there. And another things also you should know, that after certain length of arc, generally this arc instead of spread out, it generally constrict. Why this is constrict? There can be occur some sort of constriction of arc, because that radial force and other thing, that electromagnetic force and other thing, this effects generally can be there. So there can be constriction of arc also can be there. So that's why generally higher and higher arc gap is not good. Now why it is not good? Generally higher the arc gap, though increase the arc voltage, but what happens, there should be some limitation of arc gap should be there. That's why generally here one thing you keep it in mind, generally trials are therefore made to obtain optimum arc length. So before generally actual welding, lot of trials are required. There what should be the actual arc gap, that means what should be the actual welding voltage. It has observed that increase in the voltage tends to cause porosity, what I have told you already, that means a spatter, and flatten the weld bead and increase weld width. This what is weld width? Weld width means is this bead width you can say. Generally here itself, from this diagram itself you can see, generally from for a 25 voltage, for 35 voltage and 45 voltage, how the weld bead shape varying. Keeping all other parameter constant, if we increase the arc voltage, how the bead shape varying. Here one thing we have seen, generally here the change of penetration, that means change of penetration means this thing here to this depth of penetration is almost marginal. Do you see this depth of penetration? This depth of penetration, generally one thing you can see, it's marginal change. But what happens with increase of voltage, here generally this bead becomes flatter and its beads wide become more and more. That we can observe from here. Why it is, that I have already discussed. Now here one thing also you should know, that reduction in arc voltage, that means in case of shorter arc length, generally there can be narrower weld bead, which is like this narrower weld bead, and higher crown. Higher crown means this bead height can be higher side due to this reduction in arc voltage. So narrower the bead shape become narrower, as well as higher crown will be there if the arc voltage is due to the reduction of the arc voltage. Now we got the idea what is the effect of arc voltage. So arc voltage effect is on bead geometry, especially bead width. Generally higher the arc voltage, higher will be the bead width. generally its penetration effect is marginal, that we observe from here. Now we will go, what is the effect of welding speed? This welding speed is the generally very interesting or important parameter, which generally represent that means how much heat will be supply per unit length. That we can, this idea we can get from welding speed. How you can represent this thing, that I have already discussed you, that is the heat supply per unit length is equal to voltage into current divided by welding speed. This is generally called welding speed. VW means welding speed. Generally what you observe, heat supply per unit length, this unit actually is, the unit of this thing is joule per meter or joule per millimeter. So from here we can see, higher the welding speed, lower will be the heat supply per unit length. So lower the welding speed, higher will be the heat supply per unit length. So once we get this idea, then we will see what will be the its effect. Like if the welding speed is more than what is required, that means if the welding speed is high, here generally heat input to the joint per unit length will decrease. Definitely if it is high, VW is high, then heat input will be decreased, this will be decreased. Then due to this decrease of heat input, there will be less filler material deposition. So due to this less filler material deposition, then if the less filler material will be there, then less reinforcement also, reinforcement height also you will get. Apart from this thing, due to more welding speed, there can be undercut, arc blow, porosity, uneven bit shape, these types of different welding defect, and different effect can occur over the welding zone. This actually undercut, porosity, uneven bit shape, these are all different welding defect. And arc blow I have already discussed about that, higher the welding speed, generally there is a chance of higher arc blow can be also there, that I have already discussed during arc blow discussion. Now if the welding speed is slow, if this is less, that means slow means if this is lower, this VW is less, decrease, then this H will be increased. So if H will be increased, then filler material deposition per length will increase. So here you will get, due to this more filler material deposition, more reinforcement you will get here. Here heat input per unit length also will increase due to this thing, because here H will increase due to lower this thing. Then width and reinforcement height also increase here, width as well as reinforcement height also increase. So due to this, here generally we will get more convexity types of shape of bead due to this slow speed of welding. Then here due to this slow speed of welding, generally penetration decrease beyond certain decrease in speed. How it is, that I will discuss. Here one thing you keep it in mind, you never think higher the heat input means higher the depth of penetration, not like that. Higher the depth, because what happens, higher the heat input, that means for slower speed, generally does not means that penetration will increase and increase. It has a limit. After that limit, generally penetration not increase. That's why this point here it is written that penetration decrease beyond a certain decrease in speed. After further decrease of that the welding speed, that penetration does not affect. How it is, that I will discuss in next slide. And here another things you should keep it in mind, due to this slow speed, a large weld pool, rough bit, possibility of slag inclusion also there due to this slow speed. Now we will see this penetration, generally this penetration, that's why generally we should decide our optimum welding speed also. Because what happens, for a particular welding speed, generally we can get optimum penetration. That speed is generally intermediate speed. It's not either very high or it's not is very less. It generally is within some intermediate speed we get generally what is called more high penetration. Now why this is happen? Because because if we decrease the speed again and again, so at excessively low welding speed, what happens, the arc strike a large molten pool. Definitely what happens, if the welding speed will be low, then what happens, volume of molten material will be high at a particular location. Due to this volume of molten material, generally the penetrating force get cushioned by this molten pool, because here whatever the penetrating force is coming over the molten pool, that molten pool generally cushion that forces. Due to that things, what happens here, generally further penetration cannot increase. That is why this penetration, that means after certain lowering of welding speed, generally penetration further does not increase. So that is why here generally generally optimum penetration we got at some intermediate speed. Now here another things you should remember, with excessively high welding speed, generally there is a substantial drop in thermal energy per unit length, because that you know, if the welding speed is very high, then what we got, this heat input per unit length will decrease tremendously. So there is a substantial drop in thermal energy per unit length of the weld joint is there. Due to the substantial reduction of welding heat input, what happens, there is a chance of lack of weld material deposition can be there. Due to that things, what happens, there can be undercutting along the edge of the weld bit. Why this undercutting is there? This undercutting, it is because of insufficient backflow of flare material to fill the path melted by the arc. This is due to insufficient backflow of flare material. That means whatever the material required to backflow to fill the path melted by arc, that sufficient flare material is not backflow if the speed is high. So here one thing you keep it in mind, welding speed is to be adjusted within limit to control weld size and depth of penetration. Now we will see what is the effect of electrode feed speed, then we will go for what is the effect of electrode extension, and finally we will discuss what is the effect of electrode diameter effect. So first of all we will see what is the effect of electrode feed rate. What I have already discussed, electrode feed rate means if the electrode feed rate will be more, then what happens, then deposition rate will be more, because feed rate more means more material will supply to the workpiece. So here generally, that is why here electrode feed rate determines the amount of metal deposited per unit length per unit time. Generally in most of the welding machine, generally depending upon this welding feed rate, the current is adjusted. So what happens, in most of the welding machine, the welding current adjusts itself with electrode feed speed to maintain generally proper arc length. That I have already discussed. Generally that is called self regulation characteristics of arc. In most welding machine, generally that types of characteristic generally used. Now we will discuss about electrode extension. What is the effect of electrode extension? This is a very important parameter which have significant effect on deposition rate, bit shape and all the things. How it is, that I will now discuss. Generally electrode extension, this is also known as length of stick out, that I have already discussed. This is generally what? This is generally called contact tube. Contact tube. And generally above this contact tube, here generally this is called arc. This is called arc. That means electrode tip to workpiece, whatever the root gap is, whatever the gap is there, that is called arc gap, or here generally arc is created, that is arc, that we know. And this contact tube tip to arc till arc, whatever the length of electrode extended out, that is called length of stick out. This is called length of stick out, LSO, that we can write. So length of stick out generally is the extension of electrode coming out from electrode tip to electrode generally coming out from contact tube tip to arc position. So here this is generally called length of stick out. Here one thing you keep it in mind, generally if this length of stick out increase, then what happens, length of stick out result in increase of electrical resistance, because this length of stick out, if it is more, then what happens here, electrical resistance also will be more, because from this contact tube like arc, if the arc gap is more, that generally there is arc resistance is more. Similarly, if this length of stick out will be more resistance will be there. So, due to this more resistance, this causes resistance heating of the electrode extended length. In this electrode extended length, in this LSO, here generally resistance heating will be there. Resistance heating will be there. Resistance heating will be there. Due to this resistance heating, here additional heat generation will be there and increase of electrode melting rate will be there. So, higher will be this length of stick out, higher will be the melting will be there. Now, for a particular power, generally what happens, due to this resistance heating of the this extended electrode, here generally power will be consumed by this resistant heating portion. So, for a particular power supply from this power source, here some portion of heat is consumed by this resistance heating of electrode. So, rest of the heat generally supplied to arc. Due to this thing, what happens, the energy so consumed reduce the power delivered to the arc, thus decrease the bead width and penetration depth. So, what happens here, this total, so here total generally whatever the total power, let us total power is QT. This is generally representing to resistance heating of the electrode extension, and its some portion is rest of the portion is going to arc. Here I am representing QA arc. So, as this from this total heat supply, some portion is consumed by this resistance heating. So, this QA arc heat energy generally or arc intensity of heat arc heat energy generally decrease. So, QA decrease, due to this QA decrease, here generally less forceful arc will be there, and due to this less forceful arc generally here generally penetration depth will be decrease. So due to these things penetration depth will be decreased. Why penetration depth will decrease? Due to less power delivered to the arc due to resistance heating of the extended portion of the electrode. Now, generally here one thing should keep it in mind, generally at current level above 125 ampere per millimeter square, that is current density above 125 ampere per millimeter, this electrode extension become very important. This becomes generally very important, because if this current density is more than this, then this electrode extension will be beneficial, because what happens, generally above this current density we can utilize for burn off or resistance heating of this electrode. Generally by resistance heating of the electrode, generally we can increase the deposition rate around 50% without changing any current, generally without changing or without increasing the current value. Generally an increase of 50% deposition can be achieved by using long electrode extension without increasing the welding current. This increase in deposition rate, whatever the increase in deposition rate is there, this is generally accompanied with decrease with depth of penetration, because here some heat is consuming. So, less power is coming to arc. So, less penetration will be there. Then another thing, thus here one thing you keep it in mind, when the deep penetration is desired, long electrode extension is not preferable over there. So, there generally long length of stick out is not desirable. So, when depth of penetration required is more, there should be shorter length of stick out. And another things you should keep it in mind, for thinner plate, generally to avoid possibility of melting through, a long electrode extension is more beneficial. Now, the last parameter, that is called electrode diameter, which have also effect, this electrode extension, electrode diameter also significant effect on bit configuration, penetration and deposition rate. Why? Generally electrode diameter means what the electrode, let this is one electrode, if the electrode diameter, this is another electrode diameter. So, here one things you should remember, so electrode diameter, if the electrode diameter is increase, generally what happens, then current density will decrease. definitely current density will decrease. So, generally what happens, if current density will decrease, then less forceful arc will be generated. That is why here one thing we should keep it in mind, for a particular current, for lower diameter electrode generally we can get more forceful arc than higher diameter electrode. That is why for lower diameter electrode generally for a particular current we can get more penetration. This is one important point. Apart from this thing, for a particular current generally due to this high intensity or high current density, their generally melting rate also will be more. So, for a particular current for lower diameter generally we can get more melting rate of filler material than higher diameter of electrode. So, that is why a large and another things here you should keep it in mind, a large diameter electrode however require a higher minimum current to achieve the same metal transfer characteristic. That means for a particular metal transfer characteristics means for a particular spray types of metal transfer, whatever the current required for lower diameter electrode, this current requirement will be higher for to get the similar types of spray types of metal transfer for higher diameter electrode. Definitely that should be there. Thus, larger electrode will produce higher deposition rate at higher current generally. So, to get higher deposition by larger diameter electrode, here current level we should increase. Here one thing you should keep it in mind, in case of poor fit up or generally thick plate welding, larger electrode size is better to bridge large root opening than smaller ones. Just that is why for poor fit up and thick plate generally larger electrode diameter is preferable. Here we are showing what is the effect of this electrode diameter on bit geometry of the welded sample. Here this is showing generally keeping all other parameter constant, if we increase the electrode diameter, here one thing you can see this depth of penetration and its what it is called depth of penetration and its bit geometry, how it is varying from this figure you can easily get. That means lower diameter generally for same current and all we get generally comparatively more penetration. Here generally for higher diameter for keeping same these things we get less penetration, but here we get wider bit geometry. Because wider bit geometry, why wider bit geometry? Because what happens here less forceful arc, but what happens there can be due to this thing less forceful arc, there can be due to larger diameter, this molten droplet deposition can be higher side. This figure you can get this idea. So, this all about the effect of different operating parameter on weld quality, that means overall quality of welding in details. Next lecture I will discuss about the different welding processes. In first lecture I will discuss about the oxy fuel gas welding techniques, then subsequently I will go to different arc welding techniques.